15 shocking palace secrets that were leaked by angry ex-staffers. The British royal family, with their lavish lifestyles and closely guarded privacy, has long been a source of fascination and speculation. But what really goes on behind the gilded gates of the palaces? In today's video, we're uncovering the juicy secrets spilled by disgruntled former employees who decided to lift the veil on the inner workings of the monarchy. Number 1. The late Queen Elizabeth's frugal habits. Growing up during the Great Depression and the Second World War left Queen Elizabeth with a make-do and mend attitude. Despite her immense wealth, the late Queen Elizabeth was known for this practical approach. While one might expect a life of opulent excess, the Queen demonstrated frugality in her lifestyle. Whether it's taking the train, re-wearing an outfit, or turning off the central heating, Her Majesty showed that it's possible to be thrifty while living like a queen. Former employees revealed that she would often turn off lights in unoccupied rooms to save on electricity costs. Even more surprisingly, the Queen had her old clothes mended and repaired rather than replacing them. This frugality extended to other areas as well, with reports of her using a heated electric blanket to stay warm rather than cranking up the palace's heating system. While her modest ways might have raised eyebrows, they also endeared her to many as a monarch who remained grounded despite her privileged position. Number 2. Mealtime Mayhem. Working in the royal kitchens was a high-pressure experience that could test even the most seasoned chefs, according to former palace employees. Preparing meals for the monarchy was no simple task, with exacting standards and an unforgiving atmosphere. Ex-chefs have described a chaotic scene behind the scenes, with tempers flaring and senior staff members occasionally losing their composure. The demands placed on kitchen staff were immense, from adhering to the specific dietary preferences of each royal to ensuring that every dish was presented with impeccable style and flair. Mishaps or subpar offerings were simply not tolerated, leading to a tense environment where perfection was the only acceptable outcome. Combine this with the logistical challenges of coordinating large-scale banquets and state dinners, and it's no wonder that working in the royal kitchens was considered a true trial by fire. Number 3. King Charles' pampered lifestyle. Long before ascending to the throne, the now King Charles was known for his particular preferences and pampered lifestyle, according to disgruntled former employees. While his demands might seem excessive to some, they were simply a way of life for the staff attending to the then prince. Among the revelations shared by ex-staffers were claims that the king's pajamas were meticulously ironed daily, ensuring not a single wrinkle marred his nightwear. His shoelaces, too, were said to be pressed flat, a seemingly minor detail, but one that speaks to the level of attention paid to his personal effects. Perhaps most indulgent of all were the reports that his hot tub had to be filled with water at a precise temperature, likely to ensure the optimal soaking experience. These insights offer a glimpse into the rarefied world of the monarchy, where even the most mundane tasks are elevated to an art form by a dedicated team of attendants. Number 4. Staff nicknames for royals. While the public face of the monarchy is one of dignity and decorum, behind the scenes, some royals had less than flattering nicknames bestowed upon them by palace staff, according to those who worked in close quarters with the family. The late Queen Elizabeth, for instance, was reportedly referred to as Shirley Temple by certain employees, a moniker that poked fun at her sweet public persona. Other royals were said to have less kind nicknames, though discretion prevents the full disclosure of these unsavory monikers. Such informal appellations, while disrespectful on the surface, were likely a coping mechanism for staffers navigating the often rigid hierarchies and strict protocols of palace life. By humanizing their employers with cheeky nicknames, they could blow off steam and forge a sense of camaraderie in an otherwise highly formalized work environment. Number 5. The royals aren't immune to pests. For all their grandeur and opulence, even the royal palaces aren't immune to the occasional infestation of unwanted pests. Former staff members have shared tales of battles against mice within the very walls of the iconic Buckingham Palace. These resourceful rodents, it seems, were undeterred by the lavish surroundings and managed to make themselves at home among the regal furnishings. While the idea of mice scurrying about such hallowed halls might be enough to make some squeamish, it's a reminder that even the most rarefied spaces can fall victim to the same mundane issues faced by ordinary households. Dealing with such infestations likely required a delicate touch, as the use of harsh chemicals or disruptive extermination methods would have been frowned upon within the historic palace. Ultimately, these tales of pest problems offer a humanizing counterpoint to the polished perfection typically associated with the royal residences. Number 6. Uncomfortable sleeping arrangements. While guests at royal residences might expect the height of luxury, former employees have revealed that even the fanciest guest rooms could be surprisingly uncomfortable, especially when it came to the temperature. According to ex-staffers, heating was often kept at a minimum, leaving visitors shivering through the night despite the opulent surroundings. This practice was likely rooted in the monarchy's well-documented frugality, as excessive heating would have driven up energy costs. However, it's a stark contrast to the indulgent accommodations one might envision for those invited to stay at a royal palace. Imagine bundling up in extra blankets while ensconced in a lavishly appointed guest suite, complete with priceless antiques and ornate furnishings. It's a quirky insight into the sometimes austere realities of palace life, where tradition and thrift trumped modern comforts. For those accustomed to the latest in climate control technology, such chilly sleeping quarters would have been a rude awakening indeed. Number 7. A surprising gift policy. While the royal families regularly showered with lavish gifts from around the world, there's a strict protocol in place governing what they can actually keep, according to former palace staff. It might come as a surprise, but the royals themselves cannot simply hold on to the valuable presents they receive. Instead, as employees have revealed, most gifts are either donated to charity or added to the extensive royal collection, a trove of art, artifacts, and other treasures amassed over centuries. This policy is likely intended to prevent any appearance of impropriety or undue influence, as accepting extravagant personal gifts from foreign dignitaries or wealthy individuals could be seen as a conflict of interest. So while the public might envision the royals surrounded by an ever-growing mountain of luxurious gifts, the reality is far more restrained, with most items being cataloged and preserved for posterity rather than personal enjoyment. Number 8. The late Queen Elizabeth's secret signals. The late Queen Elizabeth had a subtle yet effective way of communicating her wishes to palace staff without uttering a word, according to those who worked closely with her. Former employees revealed that if the Queen placed her iconic handbag on the table during a meal, it was a discreet signal that she wanted the event to end within the next 5 minutes. This simple gesture allowed her to convey her readiness to depart without causing a disruption or appearing impolite to her guests. It's a fascinating glimpse into the intricate codes and protocols that governed life in the royal household, where even the slightest movement or object placement could carry significant meaning. For staff members attuned to these cues, the handbag on the table was a clear instruction to begin wrapping up the proceedings in a timely and discreet manner. Number 9. Royal travel woes. Even with access to private jets and a team of attendants, the royal family wasn't immune to the occasional travel mishap, according to former staff who accompanied them on trips. Ex-employees have shared tales of lost luggage, delayed flights, and other frustrations that plague even the most well-planned journeys. Despite the resources at their disposal, the royals still found themselves subject to the same inconveniences as ordinary travelers, a humanizing reminder that even the highest echelons of society can't entirely circumvent the realities of modern transit. Imagine the chaos of trying to track down a missing suitcase filled with the king's meticulously pressed belongings, or the consternation of being forced to wait for a delayed flight despite having a strict schedule to keep. These anecdotes offer a relatable counterpoint to the often glamorized depictions of royal travel, reminding us that even the privileged few can't entirely escape the vagaries of the journey. Number 10. Strict dress codes, even off-duty. Working in a royal household meant adhering to strict dress codes, and that didn't just apply to official duties, according to former palace staff. Some residences had rules in place prohibiting employees from wearing casual attire like jeans or athletic shoes, even within their own living quarters. This level of sartorial regulation might seem excessive, but it reflects the formality and decorum expected of those in the king's service. Imagine being barred from the simple comfort of slipping into your favorite pair of well-worn sneakers after a long shift, all in the name of maintaining a polished appearance at all times. Such dress codes were likely intended to uphold the dignity of the royal households, but they also highlight the sacrifices staff members had to make in their personal lives to meet the exacting standards of their employers. Number 11. Limited privacy. Living and working in a royal placement meant sacrificing a significant amount of personal privacy, according to former staff members. Employees' quarters were often subject to inspections, with their living spaces held to the same high standards as the rest of the residence. Even personal mail might be screened, a measure likely intended to prevent security breaches or the dissemination of sensitive information. While such measures might seem draconian, they reflect the reality of serving in a household where discretion and loyalty are paramount. Imagine having your private living space regularly scrutinized, with every detail subject to critique. A far cry from the cozy sanctuaries most people enjoy in their own homes. This lack of privacy extended to other areas as well, with staff members' movements and activities closely monitored to ensure the utmost propriety at all times. For those accustomed to a more relaxed lifestyle, such constant surveillance would have been a significant adjustment. Number 12. A not-so-glamorous work environment. Despite the grandeur and opulence of the royal palaces, the day-to-day work of staff members was often far from glamorous, according to those who experienced it firsthand. Tasks could be menial, hours long, and pay surprisingly low for the level of service expected. Imagine scrubbing floors, polishing silver, or hauling luggage for hours on end, all while surrounded by priceless works of art and lavish furnishings. The juxtaposition of such mundane labor against the backdrop of unimaginable wealth and luxury is striking. Former employees have spoken of the physically demanding nature of their roles, from tending to the extensive gardens to preparing elaborate meals for state dinners. And while the prestige of working for the monarchy was undoubtedly a perk, the financial compensation was often modest at best, particularly for entry-level positions. It's a sobering reminder that even in the rarefied world of the royals, there was no escaping the realities of hard work and modest wages for the staff tasked with keeping the machine running smoothly. Number 13. The Royal Soap Opera. Palace staff members had a front-row seat to the occasional dramas and tensions within the royal family, despite the discretion expected of them. While the details of such conflicts were closely guarded, whispers and hints inevitably slipped through the cracks, according to disgruntled former employees. Imagine being privy to the feuds, disagreements, and power struggles that unfolded behind closed doors, even as the public face of the monarchy projected an image of unity and decorum. From the well-documented strife between Princess Diana and King Charles during their marriage to more recent rumored rifts, the royal family's been no stranger to internal strife. And for those staff members charged with maintaining the household during such tumultuous times, the strain and awkwardness must have been palpable. While discretion is a hallmark of royal service, it's no surprise that some juicy tidbits eventually made their way into the public sphere, offering tantalizing glimpses into the human drama that plays out even in the loftiest of circles. Number 14. Strict hierarchies and protocol. Royal households operated on a rigid hierarchy, with endless rules of etiquette and protocol to follow, according to former staff. Knowing one's place and deferring to superiors was essential in this highly stratified environment. From the proper way to address different members of the royal family to the intricate choreography of formal events, every aspect of palace life was governed by a complex web of traditions and customs. Imagine the steep learning curve for new employees, having to navigate this labyrinth of rules and hierarchies, with even the slightest misstep potentially carrying severe consequences. Such strict protocols were likely intended to maintain order and uphold the dignity of the monarchy, but they also created an atmosphere of formality that permeated every aspect of staff members' lives. Breaking free from these constraints, even in private moments, would have been next to impossible for those immersed in the royal world. Number 15. The late Queen's legendary wit and humor. While the late Queen Elizabeth was known for her steadfast sense of duty and formality in public, former staffers have shared stories that reveal her sharp wit and mischievous sense of humor behind the scenes. From her clever quips and one-liners to her ability to laugh at herself, the Queen was said to have a playful side that provided welcome levity in the often stuffy confines of palace life. Imagine the joy of witnessing the famously reserved monarch letting her guard down and cracking a well-timed joke, offering a glimpse into her more relaxed and personable demeanor away from the public eye. These anecdotes of Her Majesty's humor remind us that even the most venerated figures are still human, with the capacity for laughter and lightheartedness, qualities that must have been a refreshing counterpoint to the endless pomp and circumstance that defined much of her reign. And there you have it, folks, 15 juicy palace secrets that were leaked by disgruntled former royal staffers. From the late Queen Elizabeth's frugal habits and secret signals, to King Charles' pampered lifestyle and the strict hierarchies within the royal households, these revelations offer a fascinating glimpse behind the gilded curtain of the monarchy. But what did you think of these bombshell revelations? Were you surprised by the down-to-earth tendencies of the royals? Or did the tales of lavish indulgence and strict protocol align more with your expectations? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. While you're at it, if you had the chance to work in a royal palace, would you be willing to sacrifice your privacy and conform to the rigid rules and dress codes? Or would the prestige and proximity to royalty make it all worthwhile? Share your perspective in the comments. If you enjoyed this inside look at the secret world of the royals, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye!